Okay, so I'll call the meeting to order just past 6:30 on Monday, October 17th. It's a regular school board meeting here at the high school. Let's first rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag over here. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so first looking for a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Second,
Any changes or movements within that agenda?
We have an extracurricular application form that the board needs to consider.
Other business?
Yep, that's fine.
Anything else? All right, all those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Next, looking for a motion to approve the minutes from September 26th.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, discussions, or corrections on those minutes? All right, hearing nothing, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, public comment. I think some people are here for the presentation. Is there anyone else who has a public comment in person? And online, anyone online who has a public comment? Okay, moving on. Correspondence? Anything, Brooke?
Nope.
Nothing to me?
Nope.
All right, so next we have some students from Castleton Elementary School. Mr. Demanis, I'll let you introduce.
Turn it over to Mrs. DeSantis first.
Okay,
Hi.
sorry.
I'm Mrs. DeSantis, and I'm a sixth grade teacher at Castleton Elementary. I teach English and social studies. So this is my student Bella, and we went to the Granger House, which Mr. Donati's class beautifully put together this little presentation. But when we got back, all of the students, because we're doing a Vermont research project for social studies, filled out a field trip form about the Granger House. Tell us about it.
So we went to the Granger House and we got talked to about the culture of the Abenaki tribe from Roger Longtoe, and we got to find some stuff in the dirt and projects we wrote by students helping digging holes and helping learning about laboratories and looking at all the different rocks that they have. And they are turning the Granger House into a museum, and they're fixing it up, getting it ready. And
We had a great day.
we had a great day and we had fun.
We had a great day, and then we'll see pictures from the other students.
Thanks, Bella. And Mr. DeMattis, a lot of you know me. This is my first year at CES, so even though this is my 19th year in the district, so we have Avery, Jackson, Holly, and Emily today. Over the last week or two, they've been working on a slideshow for you about the Granger House field trip that we went on. So take it away, guys.
So before our visit, Ellie Moriarty speaks to us in the fourth graders about our visit and told us to prepare for the weather bringing like muck boots, and if you're wanting to get dirty and you're okay with that.
The Granger House was one of the nicest looking houses in the 19th century in Castleton, Vermont. They paid for a carpenter to make the stairs spiral. Those spiral stairs were very expensive and ahead of their time. They are now slowly falling apart and are quite fragile. When we first got there, we were greeted with a welcoming sun and told us story from his tribe. After this, we broke into groups.
Oh, this is Emily.
Roger Longtoe is the Sagameo chief of the Kalinuu Abenaki tribe and the talented Abenaki artist, native musician, and educator. came and sang to us and talked to us about Abenaki tribe and some traditional Abenaki objects, mostly weapons. He told us stories and answered all of our questions.
We dig for artifacts like coins, gold pottery, and more. In the 1800s, there were no dumps, so at all. Garbage barrel went to the backyard. Screening. After we dig, we put dough in the screen and shifted it to let the dough out, but keep the artifacts in. We found a lot of coal and little pottery.
For the museum they're gonna build out of it, they recreate artifacts and 3D print them. They find pipes, arrowheads, and many other things.
Sorting coal. We were handed bags of coal and and weighed the coal. We used a tiny scale to do the small bags and a big scale to do the big bags.
That's not part of the team, is it?
He's our best friend.
I have a
Right?
question. She has a question. So I have a question.
Any question?
Yeah. Bella, did you say laboratories?
Yeah.
What were you guys looking at?
Well, after we're done with all the rocks and stuff, they go to the laboratory and look at it even more.
Laboratory.
So
Okay.
they can figure out if it's actually like the right kind of rock and what's like artifacts. Yeah.
Okay.
How long has it been there and stuff.
So the stuff you collected, they were going to take back?
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic.
Are there any other questions? Christine?
So what kind of pieces of pottery did you find? Were there anything that you could tell was pottery, or did it just look like dirt?
Yeah. Usually it was like white. And the dirt didn't stick to it very much.
Okay.
I have something to add. So when we were like looking at it in the sander, I kneeled down and got a little pottery piece, and one side is a little darker from the inside and one side is a little whiter. And it really sticked out because it was really white.
Cool.
All right, well, thank you so much for presenting. It was a very good
guys.
job.
Pretty cool you guys got to go do that over there.
Yeah.
Very good.
They don't know it yet, but there's actually a little math involved that I'm go back to this when the time comes to get to that topic.
I'm so surprised.
All right, guys, I think you're all set.
All right, great job. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. DeMatti. I don't know.
DeSantis.
DeSantis. Thank you.
Keep that on.
Hey, Patty.
Good job.
Back to watching. I know. Let me too far away.
Because you weren't yet. But you can do it.
Okay, so we'll move on to item number 7, which is contracts and resignations. There are none.
Correct. I'm gonna do the.
Well, we can. It's
Oh.
further
Oh,
further
it's
down,
further down.
but
Separated,
11.
sorry.
All right, number 8 is the central office report, which was included in our packets. Does anyone have any questions for any of the administrators about its contents?
Did we request the GPS systems on the
yes,
buses? Was there a reasoning behind that?
yes. So
Executive session share or?
No, I mean, I think,
We've had issues in the past where a bus is off the road in Benson somewhere. And Casey and I responded, was it a year or two ago? And we had no idea where the bus was.
Okay. So even with the radios that they have in there,
Yeah, we
not good
couldn't
enough?
communicate with the radios.
They can communicate with each other, but they can't
They
communicate.
could communicate back and forth with the school, but Casey and I could, so we were. if
They
we
were
had
in their
GPS,
car
We would have been
trying
able to kind of pinpoint right where the bus is.
Gotcha.
also, we can
Okay.
tell the speed at which the bus is traveling.
Okay.
It's just an additional checks and balances. When we did the original RFP, this was written into the contract, but because of COVID and supply chain shortages,
Let it
it
go
was,
for a while.
well, there was a delay in getting the materials,
We
just
can
like
look
there
at
was.
bus runs, start time, end time on bus runs and see how long they're taking versus what we had initially thought they were gonna take, things like that.
Okay.
Extracurriculars, we'll be able to see where buses are
Okay.
if there's questions.
Great. Thank you.
Did we ever get the new buses that we had been waiting for from COVID?
Yep,
Yeah.
they're all up and running. Well, if they have a driver, no, they're all up and running.
Do they all have cameras on them?
Yes, part of our RFP was, they all have 3 cameras on them now. So, front, middle, and back. So we have different views.
Yeah, and they're working much better.
They're working much
Yep.
better than our previous cameras were. We do have kids occasionally unplugging them, but we're working on that.
With middle school and high school in the same bus, how's behavior on buses?
Well, they've always been on the same bus. We've always had elementary through high school on the same bus in the district. I would say, overall, some of the bus behavior can be challenging because we do have some buses that have too many students on them. And that's something Chris and I are meeting with the bus company on Wednesday. We're kind of looking for, what are some possible solutions as we head into next year. I mean, we don't have drivers to support the number of runs we have. So what are some alternatives as we plan for next year? But many of our bus runs, if we've been able to staff them with a bus monitor, we've done that to help with student behaviors that we might be seeing on the bus. But busing is a challenge right now, and we're not alone in that. I mean, that's state and national. Somebody asked me today how much the company is paying bus drivers, and the starting salary for bus drivers is $22 an hour. So, and we still can't, we're not able to find drivers, so. It's crazy.
How many hours does a typical bus driver work per day?
4 hours. They're paid for 4 hours minimum a day.
And then if they sign up for the extracurricular
Correct.
activities?
Correct. And we are, I shared with you the message I sent to parents today, but we are having challenges with the extracurriculars. We are having kids get out at 1 o'clock so they can make it to a game on time, which is not something we want to be doing. But otherwise, we have no transportation for them, so.
So morning run, and then they can come in and do custodial work, right? And then an afternoon
We're
run?
trying, It's not working.
I like that.
Yeah,
So they've been sitting. The custodians, be bus drivers.
yeah, we are.
Well, Casey, are you still gonna sign up to drive a bus? Where's that stand?
He didn't realize how much training was involved, I think.
A lot of focus. It doesn't seem to be one of those professions where you can have your phone next to you, kind of do some, serious stuff.
Multitasking.
And then while you drive the 45 minutes back and forth, I guess with the cameras, it seemed.
It's too much responsibility.
And you might want to stop talking right now. Publicize.
All right, any other discussion points within the central office report?
No, but I thank you for them.
Yes.
Because I read them
Thank
and
you.
it helps. Sometimes we don't have
Very
questions
good.
because you told us what we needed to know, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, I just want to highlight what Brooke had mentioned about many of our administrators attending the governor's safety council meeting in November, and how we're recognized as kind of one of the leaders
Mhm.
in our preparedness. So that's certainly nice to see that that's prioritized here and that we're doing a great job with that.
Yep.
And we're networking, right, with the right people, right?
Correct.
It takes a community and we're engaging all the stakeholders, so.
Yeah, absolutely. We have great relationships with our partners.
I did also want to say, Cheryl, I appreciated how you laid out the budget and what the budget, the various time periods of what happens regarding the budget, because I think a lot of people don't really understand that, and they don't even understand, what a fiscal year might be versus a school year, that kind of thing. So I did really appreciate that. I hope that that's able to be shared, kind of more broadly than just the minutes. It's pretty embedded in the minutes, so, but anyway, I just thought that was good.
All right, so we'll move on to the committees, and the finance committee met beforehand. Does someone want to summarize that meeting, or shall I do it?
I can, I guess. So the main topic of discussion was the upcoming budget. We looked at some staffing recommendations, changes in staffing, and just trying to get a feel of where are we going, what are things looking at like. We definitely know that next year's budget is going to be an increase over this year's. Inflation right now is at 8.8%. There's a 4.5% increase in teacher salaries. Health insurance is estimated at 12.5% increase. Fuel oil is up 106.7% from last year. So it's going to be, there's no way we're going to come in close to last year's budget. One of the positive things though is that even with kids shifting around, we're at a net increase of 40 students compared to last year. So when we get down to where the equalized student counts factor into, what we get for revenue and everything, that's going to help offset some of these increases to some degree as far as what it's going to do to your local tax rates. But we're really at the early stages of the budget formation. There's also a bunch of COVID money, different grant sources. Some of the ESSER funds are starting to go away. ESSER 2, fall of 23. Some of the other grants, like the AWARE grant, which is for mental health, that we received in 2018, that's coming to an end. SAP grant funding is ending. So that's where we've really got to look, and there are a number of positions that are being funded by these grants, and are any of these, there are some of these that are certainly very important to student well-being, to the functioning of our district, and some of those will probably have to be incorporated into the budget, and paid for by local funds. But we're still kind of early in the timeline. There's a lot of key things that we won't know for quite a while, such as our equalized pupil counts and common levels of appraisal. Those are down the road months. And last year, the equalized pupil count we finally got in May. So we're going into this asking voter approval of a budget where we don't know all of the numbers yet. But that's kind of the way things sugar out. So are there any questions about where we're headed with the budget? And then,
And there's no proposed personnel cuts, right?
Correct.
yeah,
Administration talked about various positions that they felt were needed in the upcoming budgetary cycle. So in a reversal of previous year's trends, we're looking to add positions in this next budget. There will be no personnel cuts.
One case in point is that the enrollment in Benson has come up enough that we need to add another full-time teacher. Having 3 grades in one classroom, just the numbers are such that it just does not work. It's not in the student's best interest. There's also, one of the places where we had a big influx of students is at the middle school level. So we've got, our classroom size now is 24 average.
24.6 is the average class size.
So, larger than what was anticipated. The bulk of our incoming students, that's where they landed. So,
Mostly 7th grade.
yeah, so hopefully, they all stay here. That will help. So more to come. And then the other thing that from the finance meeting is we've got to pay some bills. And so I would make a motion to approve October bills in the amount of $2,848,225.32.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. I'd like to make a motion to pay capital reserve expenses in the amount of $5,742.20.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing nothing, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to approve food service payments in the amount of $8,987.55.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing nothing, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to approve grant payments in the amount of $379,376.13.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing nothing, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the high school student activity account expenses in the amount of $10,519.37.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And finally, I'd like to make a motion to approve elementary student activity expenses in the amount of $3,855.60.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing nothing, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Is there any other questions for the finance committee?
So at this point, we have some unfunded or unfilled positions, correct?
For the current year?
Yes, support staff.
So if we have those funds available, should we be trying to add a teacher to Benson in the middle of the school year here, if possible, if we can find a teacher?
You could, but the positions that we still have open are still
Well,
needs, so we're still trying to find.
well, I
Yeah, you know,
understand that,
so-
but we budgeted for, we're 2 months into the school year.
Mhm.
If the funding could work, is that something we should be trying to address?
I would have to talk with Amy about that and see,
Is it this year's numbers that are bad, or is it anticipation of third graders moving up?
it's the anticipation of the kids moving up. I mean, it's definitely not, I would say ideal this year, but,
There's more third graders than sixth graders.
No, we have
Well-
14 kindergartners this year. We have one sixth grade student, but we have
Okay.
17 pre.
So it's everything kind of
so
slides
it's
up.
everyone coming
Sliding
up
up.
Yeah.
through. It's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because there's the one sixth grader this year, so it's the.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it's a boy.
All right, anything else finance committee related? All right, we'll move on then to the thought exchange, and I believe Lisa has some to share with us on the presentation.
Doing this.
Yeah.
Change of plans.
I think, well, I don't know, I'll certainly help out. I just kind of made a pretty slide. You know?
So everyone, Lisa's our communications coordinator, took over for Josh, a couple weeks ago, a few weeks ago. I don't know.
2.5 weeks. And I will admit to the mistake, Patrick, I'm sorry. Yes.
Phone was ringing off the hook, please.
So Thought Exchange, this is one of the projects that Lisa's helping us with this year. Josh started it before he left, but as we're trying to increase community engagement, get more feedback from the community, this is a product that we purchased. Other school districts around the state and region do use it. But the primary goal is to increase engagement and feedback, especially from parents and community members as a whole.
This is just a little very quick video, just to
Okay.
give you an overview. Has anybody here, because I'm sure you got the emails, did anybody partake in the thought exchange? No. And if you didn't, you did, okay. All right, well, this is a little quick overview.
I participated.
Meet Thought Exchange,
Was on all the Facebook.
the enterprise discussion management platform that gives leaders the ability to solve complex problems and quickly align groups from 10 people to 10,000 plus. In just a few steps, Thought Exchange makes it easy to gather valuable, unbiased input. Leaders use these novel insights to drive better alignment, better strategies, and better performance. Every exchange starts with an open-ended question that the exchange leader shares with their group through a unique link. Participants can join the exchange and share their thoughts, feedback, and ideas anonymously, thanks to our patented anti-bias platform. They can also rate other participants' ideas and see which of the group's responses have the most support. Exchange leaders can instantly access value-rich analytics and uncover unique insights, powering precise and informed decisions that actually stick. Whether you're looking to hear from your workforce or connect with your community, we've got a tailored solution for you. Thought Exchange. Take decisive action that everyone knows. Meet Thought Exchange.
So this is, we've done some abbreviated versions, and Ben's used this a lot with the middle school and high school parents and even staff and students. So you can use it with student groups, you can use it with staff, you can use it with parent groups, you can use it with the broader community. But this is the first community-wide one that we did. And right now, just so you know, too, Ben is the only principal who has the Thought Exchange platform. We will roll it out eventually to the elementary schools, but right now, this is kind of where we're focused. So this was the question that we put out to the community, staff and parents. And so you get that question, and then you can go in. We're gonna go through the.
Well, that's up to you.
Yeah,
It is
no, we can do
entirely
that.
up to you.
We can
I
do
just
that.
wanted to
No.
let them know how, we did
Yep.
it.
So it's emailed to faculty and staff. We did it on October 4th, and Lisa set that all up for me. And then it was emailed to district parents and guardians on the 5th. And then on the 6th, we shared it on our social media platform. So people without students in school could weigh in on it if they had social media. Friday, we sent a reminder out, and we had a huge, we had a lot of additional engagement over the weekend, which you'll be able to. We did discuss creating flyers with QR codes to put around the community. And that's something that we may do in the future, but it's not where we went this. So as of Friday, the 14th at 3:00, when we emailed the reminder to parents, if you look at the very top, and I can share this presentation with you, but as of Friday, we had 277 individual participants. and 89 thoughts, and we had 2,902 thoughts that were rated. So we sent the reminder out, and it jumped to 385 participants. We had 120 thoughts, and over 5,000 thoughts were rated in this thought exchange. And you can rate, if you've done it, you can rate multiple thoughts. You can also go back in and rate multiple times. So if new thoughts appeared, what have you. So, so that was a huge increase with the reminder that went out. And so we have a dashboard that we can see that has all of this information on it. So we want to show you the top rated thoughts. So out of 121 thoughts that 400 people essentially came up with, these were the top things that they want the board and the administration to consider in the budget process. Continuing free meals was number one. The free breakfast and free lunch for all students. Number two was enrichment services for high performing students. And then number three were dealing with student behaviors. So those were the top three, and then
I was just gonna add that those three were the comments that participants put in. So one participant put in that comment, and then as people joined, they rated that extremely high, and that's why it became number one. So that's what the rating system is. And then, so for those of you who haven't done it, you go in and you can put in a thought and why you think it's important. That's what's in italics afterwards. And then others can go in and add a comment to that, or then rate what they feel the importance is. So that's why this isn't coming, like, these aren't things that we put out.
Right.
They generated those thoughts.
Lisa, did you add that, maybe you just said this and I wasn't paying attention for a second, but you can identify where the comment came from, the originator, to see where it says faculty and staff?
yeah,
Right.
but you don't know who. It's anonymous,
Just know
except they're
you know
from
the
that
group.
group.
You know the
Right.
group, right?
Yes.
So
Right.
of that, the faculty and staff was the person who originated that comment, and then it took off from there.
Right. Actually, you're right. Thank you, Casey, because that's what's in italics.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I was trying to.
Yeah. So it's kind of bold and then not bold, and then the italics says where, right.
Because we asked people to identify whether they were a faculty member, a community member with students enrolled, or a community member without students.
Great.
Um,
Want to go through these? Yeah.
And these are the fourth, fifth, and sixth highest rated thoughts. So number 4 was to add a metal shop and wood shop to the high school. That is probably not going to be happening in a regular budget. That would take extra funding. But that certainly is a thought. It's something we've been talking quite a lot about here as an administrative team. And then the last two were supporting staff and keeping well-qualified staff on staff. So staff retention were really the last two. So these were the 3 participation groups. Like I said before, you had to select which participation group you fell into. And then these were the top 3 for faculty and staff, the continuing the 3 meals, the adding the metal in wood shop, and then the social emotional needs of students, those in crisis and classmates. Since the pandemic, we are seeing a significant spike in student behaviors in schools this year, so.
It's just the participation.
Yeah. And then these were the top 3 for community members with students here. So the enrichment services, again, student behaviors, and staff retention.
And I just included this because this was our highest number of participants.
And these aren't random thoughts, right? I mean, there's a contextual question that's
Well, it's the
prompting.
question I
initial
gave.
question
First
that Brooke put out, that initial one, what is?
They're responding to
Okay.
that
That's
question.
just a point, yeah.
So then, this is for community members with no students, so, teachers, again, getting rid of proficiency-based grading, although that's not something, you know, we have control over. And then increase in overall budget and reducing the number of administrators.
That also was our lowest number
Right.
of participants, right? And I think, I mean, that makes sense, because if you are not a Facebook user, or we really didn't go out and promote it beyond really our school community as well as maybe we could next time.
Yeah.
And that's just what they do afterwards. They just take the top words, you know how Wordle's word clouds work.
Yep.
Yeah. So the largest words and the ones that show up most. Yeah. So I just thought I'd end it with.
Could you put that on?
Bathroom's really big.
What?
Could you put a link to
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely, we can do that, and we can do this throughout the budgeting process. And it's a tool we plan to keep using. So far, it's been successful. So we'll see how it goes. Tom has a question.
Yes, I have a question. Is that information, like the top ones, available to the participants who participated in the survey?
If they go back in the
Go back
survey,
in.
yes, they can see it. Probably what I'm going to do, since we just closed it, is I'm going to send out the information to all of those groups probably this week.
Just like a summary, is that?
Yeah, yeah, thanks for participating. Here's our results, and we appreciate your feedback, and those were shared with the board and administrative team. Yep.
So when you did the first, second, and third, most responses were, like with, one of them, the first one was free lunches. Was that an aggregate of all thoughts about free and reduced lunches, or just one question?
No, so it wasn't even, it was just somebody's response to the initial question that was put out, like, what do you find important, you know, to meet the needs for kids as we're going into, you know, establishing the budget. Somebody, and I think that Casey pointed out, that was faculty
It's
and
staff
staff.
member, yeah.
We don't know obviously who, but somebody thought that was really important, and they put that up as a suggestion. And then as all other participants came in, you can read everybody's thoughts.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they.
Go with a
they
5 or a 4.
But
Right.
somebody
Well,
else
I
put
get
a,
it,
I
and I
think,
understand that, but what I'm saying is there were probably a half dozen or more
yes,
thoughts
there were.
about lunches.
Yes, there were.
Oh,
That's what
I
I'm
see.
saying, is
There
that
were,
aggregated
Right,
into.
right.
So to talk
No,
about
it-
that part,
yeah.
John, there is a component of sort of taking it purely from the quantitative, which is
Right.
what they can do easily, to the qualitative side of research. You can go in as the thought leader, as they label it, and do kind of theming as well, where you can see all the different responses, and you could create a theme of school lunch, and you could categorize all those different thoughts that corresponded to that. I think it was Ben, if I remember correctly, the last one when you used it, you had gone back and done a little bit of that theming work. So there is more you can do as kind of next steps for some of that as well.
But what you saw is not that.
No.
Correct,
No.
correct.
No, this is just a quick
Right.
summary, right?
Yep.
Right.
Okay, thanks.
What does this cost? How are we billed?
Well, we used COVID money for this year. I mean, it was $21,000,
$20 or $21.
$21,000.
Like the limited usage or
No,
just
for five,
exchanges?
no, for
Limited
5
usage, but
people,
limited users, if that makes sense.
I see.
limited users.
Okay.
Limited users being your user and.
I'm a
A principal's a
user,
user
Ben
and yeah,
is,
okay.
Lisa is.
Yeah, okay.
That's why all the principals don't have accounts.
Currently, we have 5 seats.
Gotcha. 5 seats, 20 grand.
Correct.
Gotcha.
But you can use it as I see.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, it's unlimited,
It's unlimited in that.
You know,
But it's an annual.
Yes.
So everything will be originating from Ben then? So if you do more thought exchanges in the future this year, it'll come from Ben?
No,
No,
from
Lisa
me.
or,
Okay.
Or Lisa, or, we're probably gonna roll it out to some of the other principals.
I was gonna say, if
trying
the
it.
other schools, if the principals of the other schools wanna,
It's just I don't have enough licenses for everyone, that's.
right, but if they wanted to use it, they could tell you a question and you
Right,
could
if
put it
one of
out
us
there.
could run,
Right,
correct,
right.
Would
correct.
probably fall under my,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Lisa can run that for them, so.
Yeah.
So yes, it's something we started with the whole middle school piece, and that's where we put the focus and made sure Ben had the training for that, and then we'll roll it out to the elementary schools, so.
It's interesting though with the QCR codes, to display those in public or put them on like a menu when people go to a restaurant or something where they can
Yeah,
scan it. What's on your mind about the school budget? That's a completely different way of gathering community information.
yeah, and we're putting together a list of different organizations within the community to go out and visit, now that COVID's
the wheel.
lockdown is over. Also, we just started a Did You Know campaign this
But you
last
could put a
week.
QR code in the free press, in her like little.
Yes, yep, we
weekly,
can do
right?
that.
You can do a
I saw
little
that.
postcard with the QR code. I
I
mean,
saw the Did You Know piece.
Yep.
Thought that was
Yep.
good.
Yep, we're trying to come up with one for every day of the week, so if you have any one-line Did You Knows that you think we should include,
like Snapple, did you know? Like sloths have funny things.
like
Related to our district.
related to
I was
our
gonna say,
district.
you mean like useless facts?
Yeah.
That's what I was going for.
We want
We
useful,
might run out.
we want useful facts.
I'll keep a couple in my pocket.
That's a lot of facts.
No, we're
It's a
trying
lot
to
of
do
facts.
one every day, it is.
Every
A lot
day,
of
every week.
No, every day.
Some-
We already have
Lot of
52
days.
facts, but
You already have 52?
Yeah.
So that maybe you should go to the week, one a week. No,
we'll see, we're trying to be overachievers. There's a lot to know,
I think we can.
so.
You know what color the floor of the library is.
Wow.
No, but like,
Not until
did
you
you know X percentage of staff live in our district?
Right, yeah,
Did you
yeah.
know,
No, I
like,
think it's
that's
cool,
what we're
yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
like do to increase awareness, and it can be positive, negative, I mean, it's just a fact, so you can, interpret that any way you would like, but.
And I have seen on Facebook, people have liked, not a lot, but it's had some, and sharing, which I thought was interesting, like some people are actually sharing that fact. So, and I'm very much into the QR code, so we have talked about that. But there are a lot of people that still do not use, they don't, I know they've been around forever, but
I just learned last week or the week before.
see, there you go,
Brooke and Chris had to.
there you go.
I had never used it.
Well, you used to have a
code?
QR reader, now you just take a picture.
Right.
Yeah, but I didn't know. No.
How did you order for the last 2 years at a restaurant?
I don't know where I live. I'm like, I couldn't even.
Menu.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen a
Doesn't
paper
get out.
menu in years.
Right?
But, so those are just some of the
panicked.
tools
Didn't know what
we're trying to use.
I had to text them both.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks Lisa. Any other questions?
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that's good. Thank
Yes.
Or
thank you.
to using it
I
more.
thought they were gonna say though, we need more bathrooms.
I know.
Bathroom was big in the world.
Yeah, it's in there, it's in there.
I'm sure.
All right, so we'll move on to the leave of absence request, which was in our attachments from Anna Daly. Is having a baby and then is having surgery and is requesting to be out for the remainder of the year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Doesn't say that in the thing, though, does it?
Yeah, I think it.
I think
You
it
added
may have been
together,
implied.
yeah.
That's kind of what or inferred.
Yeah,
That is-
I inferred that, but
Yes, that is correct.
she didn't say it.
No, she's not.
You are correct, she did not say that.
So, does anyone have any thoughts on that, or is there a motion to entertain that request?
And she's an SEL coordinator or SEL, I mean,
Interventionist at, Castleton Elementary.
so how likely is it to fill her position with an SEL
Don't know, we just put out the ad,
coordinator?
I don't know. Not sure. I mean, we do have, in our larger schools, we do have 2 folks in those rooms, but
So how much of this is paid for her then?
it depends on I mean, I don't know specifically. Most of this time would be without pay. That's why it's coming to the board.
Okay. Kim's not here tonight, but I'm assuming that you
Yep.
recommend or approve
Yeah.
of this?
Yes.
So she's gonna be out the whole year, from December on, the
Yes.
rest of the year.
Correct.
And we really don't have much say over the first half of it, right? She's
No.
entitled to March.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's basically granting her additional time to recover from the injury for the surgery.
Yep.
All right, are we gonna act on this one, guys?
Make a motion to accept the leave of absence for Hannah Daly.
Second.
All right, any further questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
And is anyone opposed? Okay, next, students.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry, as a follow-up.
Sure.
So I do approve of it, but would we have to get someone to replace her if we don't have someone that has that skill set?
That's something I'd have to talk with Kim about, and see, Kim is actually on.
I mean, I'm just
We'll-
curious
we'll have
about
to
that because
see.
it's like anything else, right?
No,
If
I
the
mean,
person-
we'll have to
You can't
see.
just get like a teacher to fill that position. They're not going to be able to do that job. So I
Right.
guess I'm just saying that I wouldn't, yes, we can certainly give her the leave. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but
Yeah.
I do have a problem just putting warm body in there for that lengthy period of time.
Right. And Kim's aware of that, and we're,
I'm
yeah, we're talking on.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, student surveys.
Yes, and Chris Benway is gonna speak to this, and she is online.
Yep.
The pass
Good evening.
out.
I wanted to just let folks know that it's survey time again. So often in October, we ask our students to fill out some surveys. One of the surveys that we'll be asking folks to fill out is a universal screener. This is the 3rd time we will have done the SSIS SEL. That's an acronym for you. It's the Social Skills Improvement System, Social Emotional Learning Screener. And we've administered it 3 times now in grades K through 12. This will be our first time this year. And our assessment plan calls that we will implement that 2 times this year, once in the fall and once in the spring. And so we'll be doing that in grades K through 6, with teachers actually filling out the surveys on our youngest of students, and then middle, elementary, and up fill out the surveys on themselves. And Brooke has a handout there that includes some of the sample questions. Folks are often very intimidated when we talk about doing a social emotional universal screener. And so I ask that that be shared just to give folks an idea of what the questions are that are being asked. And this year for grades 7 through 12 in the fall, we're going to only implement 1 survey versus the 2 that we did last year. We are only going to implement the Vermont After School Project Survey in grades 7 through 12 this fall. And then in the spring, we'll do the SSIS with our 7th through 12th graders. This will be the 3rd time that we've also done the Vermont After School Survey. And that survey really just focuses on how students spend their time in their 3rd space. So when they're not in school and they're not at home, where do they spend their time? Who are they with? And what are they doing? And really looks to build upon students' assets and to create safe places within our community for students to thrive when they're not in school or not at home. So wanted to let the board know about that. There are letters that are going home and students' Thursday packets and information that'll be available on the websites. And there's also an information sheet that I can also distribute with the board minutes which is about the Vermont Youth Partnership sample questions. They're very similar to those that you see in the SSIS. They focus on social connectedness of kids, home environment, bullying, health, mental health, violence prevention, drugs and alcohol, perceptions, things like that, as well as third space. So I can hand out that survey of example questions for that as well, if anyone is interested in seeing it.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Chris? Now, what Brooke handed out, these are the actual questions?
Yes.
Surveys, it's on the.
Yep,
yeah.
it's on the back.
This is the same for all ages, or are the questions tailored for particular age groups?
I think it's 7 through 12.
No,
I think it's K through 12.
these are K through
Those
12.
are
Yeah.
first K through 12, but on the for the younger students in grades K through 3, teachers fill out the surveys, whereas in grades 4 and up, the students rate themselves.
Alrighty, any other questions for Chris? All right, thank you, Chris. All right, other business. I know, Brooke, you mentioned an extracurricular request.
Yep. And I apologize, this just got to me today, but because there's a field trip coming up that's associated with it, we wanted to make sure it got to the meeting tonight. So this is for business leadership, future business leaders of America Club at the high school. And so I think Candace did email it out to you this afternoon. And as part of that, there's also a national leadership conference that's held at Norwich University at the beginning of November that she'd like the club to participate in. And so this would come with a stipend. This would be stipend category E. And so we're just asking for approval to add this additional club to the
So stipend
school.
462, that's to pay Cheryl for her time,
Yes.
not like per kid?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
That's the staff stipend. Yep.
What's our pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the
I'll second.
activity, new activity.
All right, any further questions?
No, but I looked at the website here and the last bullet of the 4 bullets is create a post-graduation career plan. So it's more than just like sit, you know what I mean? It's thinking about what you're gonna do next. So it's kind of cool. Exposure to multiple career pathways. Yeah, very neat.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the request, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there any other business? Yes.
I just have a question for Brooke regarding what I'd mentioned last meeting. If there's anything to report or updates regarding transgender, non-conforming students, whether that be in the elementary school, or if you're seeing anything with the transition to the middle school as being positive.
I mean, we haven't seen anything, any changes. There's nothing that's come to at least my attention. So, I mean, we are following our policies and procedures. Certainly, I don't know if principals have anything different to share, but things seem to be going okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to
Sure.
acknowledge Brooke's recognition as one of the 12 female administrators in the country. Congratulations.
Keep an eye out for her, huh? Is that it? Keep an eye out?
Wait,
Well,
think
yeah.
is it?
As long as she doesn't get too big-headed and leave us. we'll be all right.
She was recognized.
For a New York City school.
Vision and Purpose magazine, as one of the top 10 female,
And was it?
leaders.
Top
10
12,
or
top
12.
10.
10 or 12, come on.
Congratulations,
Thank
that's
you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
That's great.
Okay, anything else? Other business? Okay, we'll move on. Executive session, nothing needed?
Nope.
needed. So agenda, let's see, I know we had a meeting next week, but that's been canceled, so there's nothing next.
Except we have the,
We have policy and building and grounds. We just don't have.
Okay, so next Monday, the 24th, policy and buildings and grounds, both at 5:30,
Here.
both here at the
Yeah.
high school.
5:30?
Our
so it is
meeting
5:30 the same time.
Our regular meeting is canceled.
Correct.
Okay.
And then, so the next meeting after that will be
November?
14th, November 14th, and we'll have a finance meeting before that. So that will be a probably budget heavy meeting
Yeah, and I would suggest is an hour enough?
for finance.
Yeah, it might not be, right? If you're
No, it might
presenting-
not be. I mean, we could. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter to us. I mean, we can move the meeting up as early as
Yeah.
you would like. It's just a matter of
Would those
you
on
all
the
being
finance
able
committee be able
attend.
to attend a 5 PM meeting? Instead of
What day is
5:30?
this?
The 14th,
November.
yeah.
I could.
There's
As of
no
right now, I
sports, right?
can. Have it quick.
No, there shouldn't be.
All right, well, why don't you have Candace advertise 5 o'clock on that?
Can you do-
then?
It's gonna be a tough one. Being short-staffed.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in the committee meeting.
Could we, I mean, how would people entertain the thought of we start finance at 5:30 and we push the regular board meeting back to a 7 o'clock start for that night?
That's reasonable.
Could do that.
And Tara can't come the 14th at all, so we need Glenn. We need everyone else kind of there.
Did she just pop up on your watch?
Yeah, she just said she
Wow.
can't come.
Hey, the
I don't
the
ever want to
Jetsons are
have that
here.
relationship with Tara where she's popping up on my watch. Jeez. I'm fine with 5:30 and then 7. That's cool.
That's-
All right.
I just don't want to cut discussion short because this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
lots to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it.
All right, so that's it, right? Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
I-
Aye.
Okay, thanks, guys.